Hey everybody, welcome to another off-the-shelf board game review. This week we've been looking at Sword and Sorcery from Ares and Gremlin Project. Now this is a fantasy adventure game, a dungeon crawler if you would, where the players are playing a group of heroes who are trying to go through a couple different dungeons and going on a quest. Although something that's not quite as common in a lot of the more modern dungeon crawlers, as this is actually a campaign-based game, where you're going to go through a complete story from a storybook that's going to tell you a long campaign story, and your heroes are going to level up all the way from level 1 all the way up to level 7, and they may lose a couple levels in the progress, but that's part of the challenge of the game. The game is going to tell an overarching story, and by the end of the story, we're going to go through and from fighting lowly, little, low-life monsters all the way up to the final powerful boss monsters. But wait, this is just based on the first box, which is up to the first act only. Act 2 adds a lot more monsters, a lot more adventures, and a final end for the true end of the campaign. Because in the basic box, the players only get to go up to level 4. In the end, they will reach level 7. Well, that's enough about that. This video specifically right here is going to be a gameplay video. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you know I always put up a couple different videos. One's going to be a quick overview video. One's going to be a gameplay video, a tutorial video also, and then finally there's also going to be a review video. This video right here is going to be a gameplay video. Now, if you want to see any of those other videos, make sure you check out the videos in the series, the overview, the tutorial, and the final thoughts. But this video right here is just going to be a sample gameplay, which does mean there's going to be spoilers. Although to avoid too many of the spoilers, I have the game set up for the very first adventure in the game, which is basically the prologue, and tells a story of why these heroes who died all these many, many years ago have been brought back to life in this very, very troubled land. Now, I'm not going to read you all the text that has the full storyline, but I'm at least read to you the introduction for the very first story so you understand exactly what is going on. Now, for this specific playthrough, I'm going to be playing with 3 heroes. I'm going to be playing with Icarus, or Icarus, however you want to pronounce it. He's pretty much the tank of the group. Now, one cool thing about this game, you'll see this if you watch the tutorial, is that every one of these heroes has a law side or a chaos side, or well, there's also a neutral hero also. But basically, depending on which side of the hero you pick, they're going to have slightly different powers. Now, I decided to play the law side because we're going to be the goody two-shoes because we've come back to life to save the world. The chaos guys may have their own ulterior motives, but these are heroes in this case, and we're going to go through the prologue. So our first hero is Icarus. He's pretty much a paladin, a holy warrior who's going to protect our party. Then we have Thorgar the cleric, and then we finally have Shay the rogue. Well, maybe not a rogue, more of a profiteer for hire to help the good guys, because she's not an assassin, she's a rogue. Anyways, I have the game set up for our very first adventure. I'm going to go ahead and read the prologue here in just a moment. But just so you know, there's a couple different things that we do have to set up that randomize the adventure every single time you play it. Now, there's a couple things that every time you set up an adventure are going to be pretty set on the way the game is going to go. And usually these are the story events and some various things that are set up based on the amount of players and basically based on which adventure you're playing. Again, we're playing the prologue here in this case. So you can see we have a certain amount of spawn points, we have a certain amount of resurrection shrines, we have a certain amount of story incidences, and we also have a certain amount of these shadow tokens, which are going to judge which kind of enemies we're going to spawn in and encounter. Again, it randomizes things and switches things up. And always, don't forget, there's also the Book of Secrets, which you're never supposed to open until the module for the story tells you specifically to read certain chapters. And spoiler warning, this is a story for the first act of the game. So we're not going to look at that at all until we're told to do so by having various encounters. And that's basically going to be happening such as story event locations and also for these little event locations right here. And that's going to how that story is going to evolve. But back on topic, there's a couple things we do need to randomize. Now there's a event 1 and an event 2, but there's an event 3 and 4. And to make sure I don't know which one is 3 and which one is 4, we're going to shuffle these up randomly. And one is going to go on this location. The other one is going to go over in this location over here. The other thing we need to randomize is the amount of enemies and the locations of these enemies, kind of. Now, the enemies randomize a little bit based on location. These tokens are going to be flipped over to represent either a citizen who's going to run away as soon as we see them. They're going to flee for their safety, or it could be one monster, or it could be 2 monsters. At least that's how this first scenario is going to be based. Now, depending if we're playing a 2 to 3 hero game or a 4 to 5 hero game is going to judge how many of these little tokens we have on the board. And since we're playing a 3 hero game, we're going to see we're going to put some of these tokens up based on the way this map is laid out. So for a 2 hero game, we need to grab one of these shadow tokens, and it's going to go right over here on this location right here. We're going to get another shadow token, which will go right over here on this location. And I always like to not cover up the little hash marks on the board That way you can judge your line of sight, make sure you're revealing those properly. Then you're going to see we're going to have to follow this over here, and we're going to see that for a 2-player game or a 2 to 3-player game, we're going to get 2 more of them. We'll just leave those 2 guys right there because they're already positioned anyways. We'll get 1 more all the way over here in this location. And then there's 1 more I need to place out, which is going to be, it's fun reading upside down because it always adds to the challenge of everything. And I'm going to grab the book, make my life a little bit easier. And make sure I got them out all out. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have them all out. So this one will be the odd man out. It could be the 2 monsters. It could be a single monster, or it could have been that citizen who's going to run away. I don't know if that's the case. Again, that adds to the variety and the randomness of the game. Now, before we go any further, just a couple quick things I want to mention. One, this is a retail version of the game. I was not a Kickstarter backer, so there may be some extra things that are available in the Kickstarter. I don't know. I don't own it. I just have the retail version of the game only. And additionally, since we got some stars to the show, let's go ahead and introduce our stars right now. Now, the first one we have is Icarus the tank. And the cool thing about this game is every time you play the game, you're only going to be able to pick a certain amount of powers for every one of the heroes. Here's the trick. There's more powers available in the game than you will ever be able to get. So you kind of need to build up your hero based on the layout of your party or based on what kind of hero you want to play or what kind of fun you want to have with the game. So we'll start with Icarus, our first player, which is going to be hero, our tank, I should say. And the ability I picked for him is Mighty Presence. Now, this is a permanent ability that is always active. Now, a lot of these rules may not make sense to you unless you've watched a tutorial video. And if you did, well, a lot of this is going to make sense. I'm not going to take too much time explaining too many things. That's what that tutorial video is for. Anyways, his special ability is unless he's KO'd, he counts as 2 figures for controlling an area. It's a very powerful ability. Trust me on this one, you'll see why it's an extremely cool ability. Next thing we have is for Thorgar, our cleric. And of course, what's a cleric going to do? He's going to heal. Should be pretty self-explanatory. Don't need to go too far on that one either. And then the final one we're going to be for Shay. And she has the ability called Survival Instinct. Now, this is a really cool ability, especially when you start finding creatures such as goblins. I can't believe I said goblins. Gremlins. Sorry, a lot of fantasy games like to use goblins. This game uses gremlins because we all saw in the 80s just how nasty gremlins can be, especially with that kind of mohawk. Anyways, what I got for her is Survival Instinct. It says if you suffer damage, you can move 1 area, ignoring all reaction attacks. So, this is going to be a great way to allow her to survive those little gremlin attacks when they shoot out their spikes, because basically as a defense, she's going to move away. So, it's really good because unfortunately Shay only has 5 hit points, which may seem like a lot. It's not. We have Thorgar who has 6 hit points, and then we also have Icarus who has 6 hit points also. That's basically the setup for the game. Now you notice none of our heroes have any equipment on them. There's a really good reason for that, because they will not get any equipment, or will they? Let's start the story. With my most dramatic reading voice. Prologue. Introduction. Yeah, I'm not a big oral reader, sorry, but enjoy it anyways. In the middle of the night, a mystical event recalls the souls of the ancient heroes to the lands of Talon's coast. Their eyes still see the world as ethereal, veiled with the white mist. An invisible force leads the heroes to a specific point, a city not far from the Heavenshire Monastery. Their current location, still shaken and weak following the resurrection ritual, they start the journey when the voice of the High Cleric echoes in their minds. All praises to the 3 gods for this. The spell succeeded. Yeah, dramatic reading. Gotta enjoy it. Quickly, come closer to the altar. Gather the weapons I left and reach the main aisle in our cathedral. Story event 2. We are in peril. So story event 2 we will see is all the way over here. So we need to know that we're trying to reach story event 2. Cool thing about this game is as we interact with these locations, they're also going to introduce additional story events. The only thing we do know for sure right now is that there are gremlins in the city. We know that from looking at the prologue story quest here. And we also know that, hey, we've just come back to life, but we don't have any gear. So we got resurrected without any weapons. Talk about a halfway way of doing a job, but hopefully it's not going to stay that way for long. The other very nice thing about this is it's nighttime. The interesting thing about this game is night and day are always in effect. You're either going to have nighttime or you're going to have daytime. Now, unfortunately, nighttime, while part of this card we get to ignore because some of this card only happens when the card is actually revealed from the event deck, the unfortunate thing is as long as it's nighttime, every one of our heroes will be doing 1 less point of damage. So that means if you roll 1 die and you happen to get 1 hit only, we're going to do one less point of damage, which is going to be 0 damage. So it makes it a lot more tougher for our heroes who are just recently returned to life. So we have our crit hit bag, which is in red. Kind of convenient because crit hits are horrible. But let's go ahead and start the adventure for our heroes. We have the enemy deck already shuffled up. And just so you don't think I'm cheating, because I don't cheat. I don't do that. No, just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Anyways, enemies are shuffled up. The enemy powers are shuffled up. I don't think I actually shuffled the encounter deck. So I'm going to make sure I did that because I just want to make sure it's done. I want to make this nice and official. We start with our heroes who start at the edge of the city after hearing the siren call of the cleric. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure there's any start of the round effects that are going to happen. That's not going to happen the very first round. Then we need to do any refreshing we need to do. Not going to happen. Then we get the opportunity to spend soul shards to level up. Well, guess what? We don't have any of those. So we get to go directly to the player phase, and we get to pick which one of our heroes we want to activate first. Well, we are going to activate Shay first because Shay is a rogue and she has a very awesome ability. So I'll pull up Shay just so you can see just how cool she happens to be. It's called Disarm Traps. It's a permanent ability for her. It says, when you must draw a trap card, draw 2 and pick the one you want to play. That's very powerful. She also has Thievery. You can use any consumable item, ignoring its restrictions. Now, the interesting thing about restrictions is a lot of these items in this game are class specific. Rogues can only use roguely items. Clerics can only use clerically items. And warriors, well, they're going to use the warrior style items. She can ignore that restriction on consumables, which can be very, very helpful for her. So we are going to activate Shay first. Now, Shay has a movement of 5, and this game has a very organic feel. There's no really little hexes or anything on this board. The way you're going to notice the different areas is as the colors change for these regions and also these little hash marks to let you know where the different sections are. So 5 movement is actually a long movement. She could, if that door wasn't in her way, she can actually make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas. So she can actually travel pretty darn far, which is very, very cool for her. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to decide that Shay is going to be the first hero to activate. We'll move 1 space without falling over, and we will see that we got our first event here. So we're going to pull up the book, and we're looking at the book, and we're going to see that the very first time that we find waypoint number 1, we're going to read 1.3 in the Book of Secrets. So we pull out the Book of Secrets, and again, I have warned you, there are going to be spoilers. I'm going to spoil this entire prologue for you. So if you don't want to have this spoiled for you at all, it's a good time to turn off right now because I'm about to read. Prologue. Waypoint 1. Some old weapons lie near the altar. Once per quest, each hero moving through this waypoint can spend 1 action to draw and equip up to 3 item cards of his choice from the stash deck. Now this does use your action, and every one of our heroes only starts with 1 single action at level 1. So if I do decide to do this, I'm also going to be hampered later on because actions can be used for extra damage. Actions can be used for attacking. For that attack extra damage, I should specify. They can also be used for opening down locked doors. It can also be used for extra movement and other things that you can do, especially your special abilities. So if I am going to dig through this deck, I don't get my action, but if I don't have any equipment, I'm kind of in trouble anyway, so I don't have much of a choice. So I've used 1 point of my movement. Cool thing about this game is you can interrupt your movement with actions. You cannot interrupt your movement with combat, though. So that's a very important distinction. So we're going to go through this, and we're looking for anything that's dexterity-based that'll be very good for our rogue here. And we also want to consider what our other heroes are wanting to equip. We don't want to take anything that they may find very powerful because, again, this is a team-based game. It's a cooperative game, so we want to make sure we're picking gear that's really good for each one of our heroes and not making any of our other heroes lose out in the end. Dominated him and tore him apart. But oh well, that's okay. Part of the challenge of the game. So that is the end of Thorgar's turn. We now have our encounter. And it says, activate all purple enemies. Otherwise, activate all highest rank enemies. I was so hoping that would not happen. Fire, bad. Fire, very, very bad. So, he is the highest rank enemy. He has fire 2, and he is now going to attack us. But before we do that, I must remember his spines for both of our heroes before we go anywhere. So, our paladin takes 0 damage because he has 2 points of armor. Our cleric is going to take 2 points of damage. Luckily, he has 3 blue dice he can roll to try to reduce that from the spines of the from the blue gremlin, from his defensive ability right here. So, let's hope I roll 2 shields. I will roll 1 shield. So our cleric has taken 1 point of damage. Not good, not bad, not terrible. He still has 5 hit points left, so we're not doing too bad. Would have been better if I would have remembered to put the right armor on the right person, but I think this would actually work out better because Shay is kind of a glass cannon anyways. So, finishing up with our bad guys here, this horrible, nasty little creature is going to follow the logic of his AI. So we will see that he's going to attack with claws whoever is in the same area with him. His first choice is going to be the richest hero. Nobody's got any money, so we don't need to worry about it. So the next thing he's going to do is whoever has any wounds or the most amount of wounds on him, which happens to be our cleric. And this is where you're going to learn that these creatures have a tendency to gang up a lot, which is why this game can be very, very brutal at times. The claw attack is a rending, -1 to their defense. Not a big deal since leather armor doesn't give us defense anyways, but he still gets to roll 2 red dice against our poor beleaguered cleric. So we will roll and we will get, well, there's a hit and a lightning bolt and a hit and a lightning bolt. That will be 2 points damage. They have no special abilities to spend on their lightning bolts. So they have now performed 2 points of damage to our hero. Let's see if we can defend against that. I roll 2 dice. I will roll, and I will get a gremlin, which does nothing. I will get a hit and a lightning bolt. But if I get a lightning bolt, I can reroll 1 defense die. And I will get nothing. I will take 2 more points of damage. So I have now taken a total of 3 points of damage on our cleric. And like I said, you can now see how quickly this game can get extremely deadly. That is it for that activation. That is it for all of our heroes who have activated. We can now flip over all these gems. We are completely finished with that. It is now time to go to the end of the phase. The only thing we need to do at this point is have an event. We'll flip it over and Lost Treasure. Place a treasure card in the active heroes area. Now the active hero is the hero who activated last. That would be Thorgar. We will draw a treasure and we will hope it's good. We will see when it's time to start a hero turn. Let's keep it a surprise. So that is the end of the first round. Things aren't looking too bad for our heroes. A little bit hurt, but we're definitely not dying. So we're A-okay on that aspect. Let's go ahead and start the next round. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take care of the fire that happens to be on our poor cleric. Fire 2 means it's going to be staying around for 2 full rounds, which is pretty terrible. So we're going to have the effect. The first thing that's going to happen is we're going to take a point of damage. That puts us at 4 points of damage. He's got 2 points left. He's almost dead, or almost goes for him. We'll flip this 2 over to the 1, remind us that he's going to take 1 point of damage next round. We don't have any other upkeep, no leveling up to do, so now we can go ahead and start our hero turn. So Shay gets 3 items, and I know what I'm going to take for Shay because this is great equipment for her. The first thing I'm going to do is take the studded leather armor, which automatically gives her 1 point of defense, so she automatically is going to avoid 1 point of damage. Plus, she gets 2 blue dice for defense on top of that, which is going to be very nice. Additionally, if I get any lightning bolts, that's going to be an additional defense, so that's going to help her out quite a bit. Now I get to pick 2 more items. Now there's 2 swords. We want to save one of those swords for our tank because, well, we don't want a tank without a good sword. So we are going to take the scimitar, which allows us to roll a red and a blue die, and we also can do a critical if we got a lightning bolt. Criticals allow us to dig through this bag, and that can cause a lot of pain to the bad guys. We'll put that as our primary weapon, and no good self-respecting rogue is going to run around without at least a dagger or a dirk in their secondary weapon. So we will take the knife, which is only going to do 2 blue dice in damage, but the cool thing is about it is it's lethal, and it can do extra damage with lightning bolts, which means that lethal bypasses defense. So that is our 3 items for that hero. I'll just leave these cards out right here. Put them off to the side just a little bit because this is our stash deck. And then we will finish our movement. Now we've used 1 point of movement and we've used our action. That's a very important distinction to understand. So we will take our 2nd point of movement and we're going to take a free action. Now opening non-locked doors is a free action. It's the locked doors that actually cost us an action. So we're doing okay. And you also have to remember about this game that this game is a little bit timed. Now most of the time the timer is not going to create too many problems except for some later adventures. But in the early parts of the game, you're not really going to fight that timer that much unless you're really not working towards the end goals. But we still got to pay attention to it because there are bad events in here. And the further you go down the event deck, the more those bad events come out because this deck is not really shuffled. It's kind of a little bit randomized, but the bad stuff is more towards the bottom. The good stuff is usually more towards the top based on their certain story. So I've used 2 points of movement. I am going to do a free action to tear that door down. Well, I will nicely open it, but doors never close in this game. Now we need to pay very close attention to something about line of sight. I need to make sure that this X and this X are not in line of sight of each other, because if they are, we're going to reveal this token. Well, I've played this adventure enough times to know that's not the case, so I'm going to continue my movement. Use 1 movement, 2 movement. I have moved 3 points of movement, and now I must immediately freeze my action, remembering that I still have 2 points of movement, but none of my normal actions left. I do have all my free actions available, and we will reveal this token. Now this token is going to be revealed and show that we are going to get 2 enemies. Now normally enemies are going to be controlled by specific players. I'm going to kind of sidestep on that because that's not going to be too much of a problem. I'll mention it just so you know how the game is properly played, but I'm going to keep the enemies over here, and I'll just kind of remember who controls each one of the enemies. Watch the tutorial and understand what I mean about that. But the first thing we will do is we will draw our first enemy. It will be a... Ooh, that is not a good start. Or maybe it is a good start. We'll see how this works out. We will get a blue gremlin, which is going to be a 2-dot gremlin. Now the way I differentiate these until I have them painted is the ones who have the range attack are going to be the 2 dots. The ones who do not have the range attack are going to be the single dots. Now that works for the gremlins. That works for the brigands. That pretty much works for all of them. You'll understand what I mean when you start playing the game, but the range attackers I always make have the 2 dots. Look for the 2 dots on the card. So this gremlin is going to come into play, and he's going to be a little bit extra nasty because he comes into play with a power. And his power is going to be all attacks inflict fire 2. I hate this guy already. Okay. And for each gremlin he rolls, he's going to do an extra point of damage. This is what we call a very, very nasty gremlin, to the point that we are going to make sure that he dies very, very quickly. Our next enemy we will encounter will be a green gremlin. Now this blue gremlin will be controlled by Shay. The green gremlin will be controlled by Icarus. And again, watch the tutorial to understand to make the difference. I'm just going to keep track of that in my brain here. So we do have a green gremlin. It is a single dot, so we will get the non-ranged one. He will go in that space right there. Now we have a couple different options of what we can do here. Interesting thing about this game is the really cool AI. And I still have to draw a trap card. I'll do that in just a second. I'm trying to explain this little part to you right here. So we have the green gremlin and we have the blue gremlin right there. I'll set the rest of them off to the side. Now every one of these creatures has their AI and tells you how they're going to act and how they're going to activate based on how close they are to our heroes and everything like that. So I may want to either move in there, be outnumbered, never a good idea, or I can move back and let these guys come towards me, which could be a really, really good idea, depending on how I want to play, because I still have 2 points of movement, but they're going to throw rocks at me, so that's something I need to decide. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take the trap for opening a door, because every time you open a door, you reveal a trap. Every time you open one of these treasure chests, you're also going to reveal a trap. So we're going to draw 2 trap cards, because Shay has a special ability, and then I'm going to look at these 2 cards, and I'm going to figure out which one of these I want to suffer. So the first thing we will get is Flames. Wow, this dungeon's just giving us a hot time already. Flames is, make a save. If you fail, take lots of fiery damage. Goes really nice with this gremlin. I bet he set the trap, because that sounds like something a gremlin would do. I bet he has a mohawk. I bet you. Other one is, oh yeah, easily. No effect, no trap. Kind of a no-brainer. I'm going to take the no trap effect because, well, fire, bad. Anyways, so I still have 2 points of movement, and like I said, I could go ahead and charge in there, try to make an attack, and hopefully take out one of these gremlins, but there's a good chance that I will be outnumbered at that point, and I really don't think that's a great idea. If you look at the gremlins, we see that they have a certain amount of movement. If they attack with 0 or range, they do a claw attack. 1, 2, or 3, they're going to move and then attack with their claws, but I think I'd rather pull them back towards our heroes. That way our heroes don't have to move that far to get them. Although then we're fighting the timer, so maybe it's not a good idea. But the other thing that I really am trying to consider here is if I move up here to attack these guys, guess which also gets revealed. That's why we're going to go ahead and back up. So I moved 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move 4, and then I will move 5. That blocks line of sight at least, so that makes us a little bit happier. Because of the artificial intelligence of these cards, you'll see, well, that's actually going to work out for us really well. At least I hope. So our hero has finished activating. So after every single hero activates, first thing we need to do is flip over their gems so we don't forget that they did activate. Cool thing about this game is heroes get to pick the order they want to activate on their turn. Now the bad guys get to activate, possibly based on encounter cards. Now remember, Shay controls the blue gremlin. The green one is controlled by Akaris. Why is that important? Well, if this card I flip right here says activate one creature, it's going to be the creature controlled by Akaris. I'm sorry, by Shay. If it says activate two creatures, then I'm going to activate both of them. But let's say I had three creatures out and every one of our heroes controlled one of them. We always go clockwise, so it would be Shay's creature would attack, Akaris' creature would attack, and if it said three creatures activate, then Thorgar's creature would attack. So that's why it's important to always remember that and make sure that you put the heroes, the monsters with the heroes they control. But I'm trying to get this as much as I can on the camera for you guys, but just understand that's how the rules go. So we flip over our encounter card, and it says, activate all blue enemies. That's the guy with the fire. Well, there's a blue enemy, so we will just do the very first thing it says. It says Veteran Assault. So we will put this right here to remind us that we hate the blue gremlin. And then we will simply look at the blue gremlin card. Now, a couple things to understand about the blue gremlin. He has the power of Thief. If his attacks with the claws does any damage at all, or he can lose a coin, he also has banding. And this is the main reason why I backed up. If the gremlins outnumber you, they do extra damage each. So if I would have drawn an unlucky card where both these would have attacked, they both would have done an extra point of damage against poor Shay, and she probably would have came close to dying at that point right there. That's why we backed up. Now the other reason why blue gremlins are really, really nasty is because every time you hit them, they shoot spikes at you. Very bad. That's why we have very cool other powers, hopefully. So we have figured out what we're going to do here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to see if there's any heroes. Looking at the AI, we're going to see that they're going to attack the richest player within 0 spaces. That doesn't exist. So we're going to look for the richest player within 1, 2, or 3 spaces. We're going to see that we're going to move up to, I'll flip it over so I can read it. We're going to move to engage and attack with his claws within 3. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to look for the richest player. All of our heroes are broke because they just came back to life. Come back from their side, they don't give you any money. I know, they don't even give you bus fare. They're kind of cheap about that. So there are no heroes who have any money, so we'll bypass that. The next thing they're going to look for is the hero who has the most wounds. Well, luckily they don't give you bus fare, but at least they do let you come back with all your life. Well, kind of. So nobody's injured, so we're going to bypass that. We're going to look for the next category, which is the hero who has the least amount of hit points remaining. That's poor Shay. So we'll move 1, 2, and 3. We're going to see that Shay is not quite in range, so we're going to have to do the 4-point attack, which I should have moved to when I explained this. I guess I need to learn how to count. But 4-point, it says attack twice with a stone and then move 1 area. So actually, I will even look at this even better. So we're going to see if there's any heroes within 4 within line of sight that it can attack. Normally it would target Shay, so this is actually a really interesting situation here. So within 4, it would attack Shay since she has the lowest amount of remaining hit points. But the cool thing is if we read this in order, the order it says is we're going to find the hero within 4 squares that it can see, and it's going to attack twice with that stone. But we have to use the line of sight rules. Well, this square and this square are not in line of sight. This square and this square are not in line of sight. And this square and this square are also not in line of sight. So he's not going to attack with those squares at all. So he's just going to simply move up towards the closest hero. So he moves up, and that's why we retreated, because that was the much, much, much smarter decision on what we should have done. So that is it for that hero's activation, and that's it for that enemy's activation. We now get to go to our heroes. Now, I know at this point that Akaris is the one I want to activate because we need to get Akaris to get some gear so we can take out this nasty little gremlin. And the cool thing about Akaris is he will outnumber that gremlin, which means he's going to get an extra 1 point damage, which will counteract that night effect. So the first thing we'll do is move here. We know what the waypoint means. We get to get some gear. So let's go ahead and look through that stash, and trust me, I already know what I want here. First thing we want is we want the shield. Guess what? Take less damage. That's a good thing. Next thing we want is we want chainmail. Also, take less damage. Also a good thing. And then finally, we want the broadsword. Broadsword, broadsword, broadsword is right there. Broadsword is do damage. Also a very good thing. So we have moved 1 point. Unfortunately, we have used our action to get our gear. Trust me, we want our gear. We still have a little bit of movement left over. We actually have 3 movement, but we are going to stop where this gremlin happens to be, and we are going to attack that gremlin. So we look over our card here. We'll see the broadsword gives us 2 red dice to roll. If we get any lightning bolts, we're going to do +1 point of damage, and if we get a second lightning bolt, we can also re-roll a die if we want, if that's what it comes down to, if the other die just doesn't look that good for us. The trick is here is every time we hit that blue gremlin, he's going to hit us with 2 of his spikes. Luckily, our shield and our chainmail will block that, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, I dominate the square, so I got +1 damage, but it's nighttime, so I lose a point of damage, so it's basically on null effect. So we're looking for the roll of dice, and I need to get some hits. So I'll roll the dice, and we will get a hit and a star. We will also get a hit and a lightning bolt. So that means I will get 1 point of damage, 2 points of damage. I will get a lightning bolt, and with that lightning bolt, I can choose to re-roll a die. I'm not going to do it. I'm simply going to add 1 point of damage. That is 3 points of damage to this gremlin right here, who unfortunately is resistant to slashing attacks. We see that the broadsword is a slashing weapon. So after all the math, we're going to do 2 points of damage to this gremlin. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Could have been worse. But we now see that he's 2 points of damage, and now our hero cannot move anymore because once you attack, your movement is done. So you attack and move and attack, or other actions. So basically our hero's turn is done, so now it's time to figure out what the bad guys are going to do. We flip over a card, and it is Dark Ritual. Activate all magic enemies. Otherwise, each enemy recharges 1 of its special powers. None of these guys have it. That's important for the bandits. And each enemy heals 2 hit points per act. Dirty gremlin. Insert mute while I say some swear words. Sorry, it's a family show. I can't do that. So, all that work was for naught. It is the end of Icarus' turn. It could have been worse. Could have been better. It's time for a cleric to go. Thorgar is going to activate. Guess what? He is also going to gain some equipment from the stash. And he is going to look for that mighty, mighty battle hammer, which has a tendency to hit really, really hard, which is really, really fun. And we will look for, where's that other studded leather armor? Wasn't there another studded? Nope, there's only 1 studded, which went to, I gave that to the rogue, right? It is. So I should not have done that. Oh well. Hindsight is 20/20. I meant to do that the other way, and I'm not going to do a take back, so we'll just live and learn. So we are done. It is now time for our second point of movement, because our cleric does have 3 points of movement. And we are going to smash this dirty little gremlin into the ground. I get 2 red dice, 2 blue dice, maybe a KO, maybe some extra damage. But remember, we're at -1 to our damage, +1 to our damage because we dominate the square. That is basically they null each other out. I don't have an action input for an extra point of damage, so we're basically going to rely on the roll of the dice. And the dice have failed me. The dice have failed me. And what could have been worse? So we did 1 + 2 as a total of 3 points damage. Shield does nothing. Gremlin does nothing. So we have now done 3 points of damage to this horrible, horrible, lowly creature. Now we used a blunt weapon, so it's going to do its full 3 points of damage. The lucky little thing had it. So at the start of our hero turn, we now need to make a decision. This is where it's very important to remember that you, as a group of heroes, get to decide in which order your heroes activate. And this is very important, especially in these instances, because remember, the bad guys are going to activate after every single hero turn. So let's just say I was going to play stupid. I'm not going to do this. Let's say I decide to activate Icarus, or I decide to activate Shay. They walk in there and they attack the gremlin and they kill it. What's the gremlin going to do? He's going to shoot spikes at every single person who happens to be in a space. I could kill our cleric. So that kind of gives us an inclination of exactly what we're going to do at the start of our hero phase. So we figure out exactly which hero is going to activate. We know that hero is going to activate is going to be Thorgar. And, well, I think Thorgar is going to don his elven plate mail he just found. So we will decide that we're going to activate Thorgar, who is already hurt. And this elven chainmail is absolutely fantastic. Now, the only problem with the elven chainmail, which is so sad, so very, very sad, His Elven Chainmail can only be used by Strength characters and also by Dex characters. Our Cleric is a Faith character, so he's out of luck. So we need to find a way to drop that stud leather armor on the ground so our Cleric can equip it, because that's what we need to do. So we will leave this fine Elven Chainmail on the ground right there. And who knows, maybe we'll just give it to... Wait, is this Faith usable? Ooh, actually, Chainmail is Faith usable, so maybe I'll do the switcheroo there. That may actually work a little bit better. But Thurgar is going to activate, and the first thing he is going to do is he's going to heal. Now, level 1, this allows us to heal 2 hit points, but that's going to take one of our actions to do. We definitely want to do that so we can make sure we survive. So we will spend our action to cast our heal spell, which means we're going to go from 4 wounds down to 2 wounds, which is going to change very quickly, so let's not worry about that too much. After we have done that, we are now going to perform our attack. Now we have 2 reds, 2 blues. This horrible little nasty creature only has 1 hit point left. We are at +1 for dominating, -1 for Night Faith. Cancel each other out. I should be able to get 1 hit. I should be able to get 1 hit. Oh my gosh, I barely got it. The double Sword of Sorcery misses. I got a hit and a lightning bolt, a hit and a lightning bolt, and a gremlin. So hit and lightning bolt will be, or I'm sorry, 2 lightning bolts, which I got is extra 2 points of damage. So it's 2, 3, 4 points of damage. That's a total of 7 points of damage. That is more than enough to pound this nasty little gremlin into the ground. He is going to drop a soul shard. Soul shards are community property for the entire party. This nasty little guy has been defeated. I will put them right there, just so I don't forget. And this enemy power has been discarded. No extra effects that I need to worry about from that one besides the fire. Nope. Nothing I need to worry about. Don't think I missed anything. Only thing left is the gremlin, but I can still activate Thorgar, and I can still take some actions with him if I want. Now I can run up to this gremlin and do nothing. Or I could do the smart thing, which is to wait here and hopefully... Actually, better idea. Checking line of sight. I think I will move up here and end my turn. Now we go to the encounter. We flip over 1 encounter card, and it says, Close Combat. Activate all engaged enemies. He's not engaged, don't need to worry about it. Otherwise, all enemies move up to 2 areas towards the closest hero. I like that. That is actually very awesome. It says they move, not attack, not activate. They just simply move. I am A-okay with that. Go ahead, Gremlin, come to your doom. So Thurgar is done. His turn is over. Now we are going to activate. Oh, let's just say. So a couple decisions. I could move up Shay, slaughter that thing, and then our beleaguered paladin can move up, but only has a movement of 3, which is never that great. But if I move up and attack, he's pretty much done anyway. So I think that's probably the smarter decision without even thinking about it. So we are not activating our paladin yet. So we're going to activate Shay. So we will move 1, 2, and 3. And then Shay is going to attack with her scimitar, which is a red and a blue. And if we get a lightning bolt, we get to perform a critical. And if we get the snake heads, or the double SS, we get to perform an extra attack with this weapon against the same enemy. Let's go ahead and cause some pain. And we get 2 hits, and we get 1 more hit. That's a total of 3 hits. Plus we get a lightning bolt, which would have been a critical, which means we could have reached in the bag, but we don't need to do that because he's dead. We did 3 points of damage to him. He is going to drop 5 coins on the ground. We'll dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig because I should have prepared better. And he will drop 5 coins on the ground. And he will be defeated and go into the discard pile. And then Shay will decide that, actually, I am thinking that Shay is going to not pick up the coin. That is it for Shay's turn, because Shay attacked, cannot do anything else. We are finished, and now we get to go to an encounter phase. There's no monsters, don't need to worry about it. So let's go ahead and go to Akaris directly, who's going to activate his movement is 3. We'll move 1 and 2, and as soon as we stop in that phase, we will reveal that shadow. That is a single monster. We'll pull that shadow off the board, and we will draw our encounter, which will be another blue gremlin, because you can never have too many blue gremlins. Single dot, which means not the ranged attacker. No special abilities. He's going to give us money when we tear him apart, though. And now we moved 1, 2. We will move 3. That is it. And then we're going to find out what this nasty little creature is going to do to us. He is going to march. Activate 2 enemies, otherwise spawn 2 enemies. I like to activate because I really don't want to add 2 more enemies to the board just yet, although experience is always nice. His activation is for the blue, nothing in a 0, so we gotta go to 1, 2, and 3, which is move to engage, attack with claws. Move to engage, attack with claws. So, actually, nope, I left the money on the ground, so he is going to, wait, richest, nobody has money, money is on the ground, we should be fine, right? Hold on, I gotta make sure I do this correctly. I may be doing this wrong. So, 1, 2, 3, actually I was doing it wrong, good thing I'm catching myself. So, we don't have a richest within range, so he'll attack the person within range who is hurt, which is going to be our beleaguered cleric, unfortunately. So 1, 2, 3, he's going to go 1, 2, and 3 to go ahead and try to tear apart our poor cleric. So we see that the gremlin gets 2 red dice. You always got to be careful about the banding ability, which means that they have control or domination. They're going to do an extra point of damage. Luckily they don't, so it is a good thing I brought up Shay when I did. So the only thing I need to do is roll 2 red dice against our poor cleric, who is already hurt, is already on fire. Kind of a hot time for our cleric tonight. We got a gremlin. Hey, I like that. And we have a, what do we have? Ooh, we have a hit. That's still 1 hit. We do still have the standard leather armor. So we get to roll 1 defense die. We could possibly not take any damage. Let's see. And we will roll a lightning bolt. Roll 1 defense dice again. I can do this. Defense, 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 defense. Oh, of course not. So we're going to go from 2 points of damage all the way up to 3 points of damage. He's not dead yet. Well, darn. All of our heroes activated. We now take this event card right here, and we put it down here in the stack right here. That's the event phase finished. Now it's time to go to the time phase, where our poor cleric is going to take another point of damage from the fire. We will now get to refresh all of our powers. We will get to level up, which we cannot do, so now we get to go back to our hero phase. At the start of the next hero phase, we need to figure out exactly what we want our poor heroes to do. We do know that Icarus, who picked up that wonderful armor, needs to manage to find a way to get this armor exchanged with the dwarven cleric so he can survive. We know that this coin right now has been taken away from our heroes because a horrible gremlin hit our cleric. And remember, if they hit one of the hero's going to lose money. If there's no money for the hero to lose, then they're just going to pick the money off the ground. So we've lost our money there. And we have this nasty little gremlin who's brought one of our heroes even closer to death. And again, we need to figure this out pretty quickly because, again, our poor cleric is about 2 hit points away from dying again. So that is the unfortunate thing that we have to be very, very, very careful about for here. So having said that, that pretty much means that we need to activate our cleric as our first hero again. So we're going to activate our cleric. The first thing he's going to do is he's going to activate his power to heal 2 hit points, so he's not going to become gremlin food anytime quickly. And the next thing we need to do is we need to get him next to Icarus over here, so Icarus can trade and do that trade of gear, which is something we definitely want to do very, very quickly. So we've activated our cleric. He is healed. He's used his power. So next thing he's going to do is he's going to try to bash this little nasty gremlin into the ground. It has 4 hit points, takes -1 damage from slash, so we don't need to worry about that. But we do have our action. Now we need to make a decision here. If I use my action for the point of damage, I need to announce it before I roll the dice. But if I do that, I cannot exchange money or I cannot exchange items with this hero. He'll have to do his action to activate, if that's what I want to do. The other option I can do is decide not to do the extra point of damage, and then that way I can change the gear. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure this nasty little gremlin dies a horrible, painful death. So we outnumber him. We dominate the area, so that's 1 point of damage. It's night. We lose that point of damage. I'm using my action for an extra 1 point of damage. So I'm going to do 1 minimum damage plus whatever I happen to get from these dice. I will roll, and I will get 1 damage. I will get 2 points of damage. I will get, I think that was a hit. Maybe, I hope I didn't bump the die. If I did, just yell at me later. So I have 1, 2, 3 points of damage. I have a shield, and I have 2 lightning bolts. So with 2 lightning bolts, I do 2 points damage. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of damage. This gremlin is now gremlin paste on the ground. Complete gremlin paste. He has been defeated. He is going to give us $10. And this time, I think I'm going to actually pick up that $10 because I don't have to worry about the gremlin stealing it from me this time. So our hero has picked it up. And the other nice thing is this hero has not moved yet. So we will simply go 1, 2, and then we will go 3, which is the full limit of his movement. That's the end of his turn. We don't have to worry about any encounters because there's no bad guys on the board that can see us. At least, not yet. So, next up we will activate, I think I'm going to activate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I go right here, Shay is going to do nothing but wake up those bad guys, which is probably not going to be a great idea at this time. So instead we'll activate Icarus. He'll move 1. He will spend his action to do an exchange of items. So we will use that time to do a exchange, which I do believe allows me to equip the armor. I'll double check that in a second because that's one rule I sometimes mess up on. And then we will put this item over here. I believe that actually goes into his inventory. I'll double check in 1 second. And that is correct. I remembered correctly. So I can only equip it if that slot happens to be empty. That slot is not currently empty. Actually equipping it does require you use the action of actually equipping it. So you got to be very, very careful about that. It specifically says that you can exchange an item if not engaged. Pass receive 1 item and or crowns. Here receiving the item, and that's receiving the item, can directly equip it if his relative slot is empty. So that does mean that our paladin is currently not equipped with armor. Got to remember that. So I got to be very, very careful about that. It's kind of a little risky maneuver there. It also means that our cleric is still only equipped with the leather armor, so I must remember that. He doesn't have the good armor on him quite yet. So Icarus has moved 1 point. He's used his action. And remember, no armor on them all. This space costs 2 points to enter. Let's go ahead and enter, and we will reveal 1 monster. And we'll remember, oh, a little citizen is going to run fleeing into the night saying, please don't eat me, horrible monster. And we'll flip over our next card, which is the last green gremlin, which is a not so much too terrible of a monster. We have spent our action. We have moved as far as we can. We cannot perform a combat action since we're too far away, so let's have our encounter. It says, Dirty Blow, activate all dexterity enemies. There are none because I believe these guys are, oh, nope, I lied, they are dexterity enemies. So the gremlin is going to activate. Let's put that right there, and we will look at the gremlin's artificial intelligence. Says 0. Nobody's within 0. Anybody with a 1 or 2? Yes, we do. So move to engage and attack with the claws. Claws will do thief. Luckily, he doesn't have any money, so that's good. And he will be the only target no matter how we look at the AI, so we're doing good. So he's going to charge on up to our hero, and he's going to attack. Gremlins that are green roll 2 red dice. We get 1 automatic defense from our shield. We don't get our defense from our armor, though. We'll roll 1 hit and 1 miss. That hit, we have to be careful because green does not have the armor piercing, so we're okay. 1 point of damage. Our shield easily blocks that 1 point of damage, so we simply smile and laugh it off because we do not take any damage at all. That's it for Icarus. Now we will go to Shay, who will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And guess who we outnumber right now and who's going to get smacked around just a little bit. So we roll a red and a blue for our scimitar. We are going to announce that we're doing 1 point of damage because we're going to spend our action to do a point of damage. We will lose that point of damage because it's night. We will gain that point of damage because we dominate the area. So I'm going to do 1 point of damage extra. Red and blue, it has 3 life. And we get a hit and a star, and we get a hit and a star. That's 2 points damage, plus 1 more is 3 points of damage. It has 3 life. It is defeated, and it will drop a soul gem. We have defeated all the bad guys so far. Life is looking really, really good for our heroes right now. So now we go to the event phase. Since all of our heroes have activated, and we're going to draw the top event card since there is not one currently on top of the deck. And we will get Carnage. Until the next event phase, the first hero of each the first attack of each hero, reading comprehension for the win. Try this again. Carnage. Until the next event phase, the first attack of each hero and enemy inflicts critical damage. I'm glad this one came up now, not later when we get to this room. You'll see why when we get to that room. So the first thing we need to do is we're playing a 2 or 3 hero game. So we need to spawn heroes minus enemies minus 1 enemies. So we have 3 minus 0 is 3, minus 1 is 2. So we need to spawn 2 enemies. So our enemy spawn deck has been depleted. So we need to shuffle this up and find out what kind of fun we are going to encounter. And we will see our first enemy. So the last person who activated last round was Shay, right? If I'm wrong, just correct me in the comments. I'm pretty sure it was Shay. Shay will control the blue gremlin. It's 1 dot, so it does not have its special power. And then the next thing we will have to deal with here is a green gremlin. That will be controlled by Thorgar, or by Icarus. Not too big of a deal. So we have a green gremlin. They do not outnumber us. Matter of fact, we outnumber him because remember, Icarus counts as 2, so we're 3 to 2. So we don't have to worry about their banding ability. Now we get to move to the top of the new round. The trick here is if they hit us, we are going to take criticals. We got to be making sure that we take these nasty little buggers out very, very quickly. So we don't have to worry about fire on our cleric anymore. We will refresh his power. We do not have enough to level up, so it's time to start the hero's turn after I refresh all these little gems right here. I'm sure I'm going to forget to refresh these gems at least 7 or 8 more times, give or take. So now I need to decide who I want to activate. So I could activate Thorgar right here to do a heal, then walk in and go ahead and smash one of these guys. The trick is, if I do that, they're going to hit the spikes, and that's probably not going to be a very good idea. So what I'm thinking I want to do is I want to take out one of these gremlins, because both of them can do crits. I do not like that, unless I got a lucky draw from the crit bag. Could happen, and I could also not get that lucky hit from the crit bag. So I kind of want to make sure I'm doing the right decision here. Okay, so let's look at this logically and figure out how we can do this to the best of our abilities so we don't get a whole bunch of critical hits, which could pretty much tear our party apart. So, logically, like I said, if Thorgar goes in there, worst decision I can make. Shay, if she activates right now, she doesn't, well, she could possibly do enough damage with her scimitar because her scimitar already gets a critical. So that could be another critical if we really, really wanted to. That could possibly take out that blue gremlin. But as soon as we take out that blue gremlin, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to shoot his spikes at us and hit both of our heroes. While Shay can escape, I really don't want to do that, especially since our paladin does not have his armor equipped yet. And we want to do that. So it's kind of a foregone conclusion. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to activate our paladin. First thing he's going to do is spend his action to put on that wonderful Elven Plate. Now remember, Elven Plate, automatically 1 defense, 3 blues. If I get a star, it's +1 defense. And if it's equipped at the beginning of the quest, I get +1 action. It's not the case, but now next adventure, that's going to come in very, very handy. So I'm going to take out that green goblin because he can crit just as well as the blue guy, and I want him dead now. So we know that we dominate. That's +1 damage. It's night. Lose 1 point of damage. I would love to use my extra action to do 1 more point of damage. Unfortunately, that went to putting my armor on, so we're not going to do that. So we're simply going to attack that green gremlin. We roll 2 red dice. I just need to get 3 points of damage. So if I get 2 hits of lightning bolt, all is wonderful. I got 2 hits and 2 lightning bolts, even better. So that's 2 points of damage. 1 more is a 3rd point of damage. Of course, I would also do a critical, but let's speed this up. Let's not worry about that. The green gremlin is dead. We just make him very, very dead with a crit. He's going to drop 5 coins on the ground. I am not going to pick that up. Actually, I am going to pick that up because if I pick that up, guess what? The blue gremlin's next target is going to be. It's going to be Thorgar, and he's the one I want getting hit, not anybody else. So Thorgar is now the richest, so now he is always going to be a target for the gremlin, so this is actually a good thing. So I could move out. Dumb idea. Just saying I could. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to end my turn right there. I'll flip my token over there. And then this horrible little blue gremlin gets to take his action. And it will be activate all red enemies. Yes. Otherwise activate all lowest rank enemies. Boo. That would have been good. If I knew that was coming up, I would have not killed the green guy. But oh well. So the blue guy is going to attack. Let's see what he's going to do. So let's look at his logic. He's going to attack the richest player in his space with his claws. Well, we know the richest player happens to be Icarus, so he's going to roll 2 reds. I'm automatically -1 to my defense, so since I have 2 defense, one of those is going to disappear, so to speak. So I need to make sure he doesn't get any hits on me at all, because if he gets a hit before defenses are even rolled, it's going to be a critical. It's going to be kind of nasty. So I rolled a hit. That means I'm being critted, and I got a lightning bolt. So the first things first, I hate criticals. But hey, it makes the game challenging. Our horrible nastiness is going to be, ooh, that's... The red ones are permanent. Our hero is now permanently -2 to his max hit points. I'll put this up here so I don't forget that. That basically means he has 4 hit points for the rest of the adventure until I find a way to get that cured. That's really hard to do in the prologue. That is absolutely, ouch, painful. Okay, I now hate blue gremlins even more. So he did at least 1 point of damage. I now can activate my defense, which reduces that damage by 1, so I take 0 damage. Still got that crit though. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to figure out which hero we want to activate next. Well, I would love to activate Shay and kill that gremlin, but her weapon is slash and he takes less damage from slashing, so I'm pretty sure we're not going to succeed at that. So we're going to move in Thorgar, and we're just going to have to rely on Shay's awesome ability to not take damage from those spikes, because spikes are lame. So Thorgar is going to attack. We know Thorgar rolls 2 blues, 2 reds. So I have not switched his armor over yet. That means he still does get his action. We are using that extra action because crits are terrible. I hate crits. Now you see why. It makes the game challenging. So the first thing we're going to do is we're announcing that we're using our +1 from our action. So we're going to do +1 damage. Now you're just going to take it away. We outnumber. That's +1 damage. So I just need to get 3 hits on these 4 dice. I have 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits. And make sure I don't knock that die again. That's a gremlin. So we have 2, 3, 4, and a single lightning bolt, which is only going to do a knock over. Not enough to do it, but that's still 4 points of damage. Plus 1 more is 5 points damage. I managed to squish myself another gremlin and knock its head flat into the ground. This gremlin is going to drop $10 for us, and we will let it fall to the ground because we want Icarus to pick up those $10, because we definitely want to control how these gremlins are attacking. So I did move, so I cannot move anymore, so we're finished with that. So just to speed things up, we'll end our turn, and I'm going to try to speed up this adventure, so we're going to activate Shay. 1, 2, 3, 4, story event number 1. If we look at it, story event number 1 is going to be 1.1 in the Book of Secrets. We read with our most thematic voice. Okay, I'm not going to do that to you. The heroes reach the city at the first light of the sun. Beyond the gates, a vision of blood greets them. Swarms of gremlins are attacking buildings and people alike, starting fires everywhere. Place event 4 in play and resolve it. Place 2 fire 2 tokens on locations C and D. Fire 2, whoops, I'm pretty sure that's C and D. Going off memory. Yeah, that's it. C and D, which is right there and right there. And let's see, place event 4 in play and resolve it. Event 4, it's now daytime. This is much better. Now we don't have to take that -1 penalty every time we attack from our damage. It's actually better. It says, now, I will read from the prologue, and it says, during the day phase, no additional effects, but the nice thing is we don't have that negative going on anymore from the night phase, because it can only be day or night. It can never be both, and one always cancels the other. So it says, read and apply the day event effect and discard it and described in the storybook, which is what I just did. So now that we've caught up with that part, the next thing we need to do is this spawn gate right here. It gets removed from the game. This spawn gate right here is now open. And then it says place story event 1 card reveal side on top of the event deck. That does mean that there are no more fears of crits for now, but once that card comes back again, we need to worry about crits. So whatever happens to me in this area, we better kill them really, really quick. So that is it. And it says, the entrance to the cathedral is clearly visible to the heroes, yet as they walk toward it, something attracts their attention. Some dangerous-looking humans clad in heavy leather armor, carved with strange symbols, and wielding curved blades are opening a chest on a cart. But as one, they turn towards the heroes. Soul, nature, choice. So law heroes have to make the law choice. Neutral heroes may make the neutral choice. And the chaos heroes, darn it, we're the goody two-shoes, but they got to make the chaos choice. So law, drive away the raiders, go to 1.6. Story event. The heroes notice a wounded merchant lying near the cart. The raiders, knowing that they have been discovered, prepare the weapons for combat. Place 1 green raider in story event area 1, or 2 green raiders in 2 if there are more than 3 heroes. There is not. So we will pull out the enemies that I had already prepared earlier. Oops, that's the gremlin. Let's not put that one out yet. Not that one. Not that one. That one. So we get a green raider, who's worth some money when we manage to take him out. He is a single dot, so he's one without the bow. He goes in story event area number 1. Then we get to spawn hero minus enemies minus 1 enemy. So we're going to spawn 1 enemy, and that spawned enemy is going to be another blue gremlin, because you can never have too many blue gremlins. Actually, yes, you can. And then finally, in the next enemy turn, activate all raiders instead of drawing an encounter card. Note, when any green raider dies, remove it from the quest. Resume play until no raiders are in play, then go to 1.9. So we know that the raider is controlled by Shay. We know that the blue gremlin is controlled by Icarus. Put those out to the side, and we will draw out the green raider artificial intelligence card. So we're ready for this nasty little guy to be ready to cause us a little pain. Now just go over this really quick with you. They attack with their sword, and then they move away. They attack with their handbow, and then they move away. They use aim shot, and they cause a lot of pain, and then they move all over the place. If any hero moves into its area, notice she's already there, so that will not count, they will move 1 area away, unless the hero save. Dirty trick, if they hit with their sword, they also blind and crit. Yeah, criticals are horrible. Aim shot, they start with one of these aim shot tokens. So I'll pull that out before I forget. And then finally, they have the ability of Shadow Strike. Yeah, these guys are pretty darn horrible, and that's just a green raider. Wait till you see the blue and the red ones. They're lots of fun. So Shay still gets her action because all she did was move this turn, because the cleric is the one who killed that last little nasty blue gremlin. So Shay is definitely going to attack. Unfortunately, they're resistant to piercing. Luckily, Shay has a non-piercing weapon. She has a scimitar. It's time for her to do a little bit of damage with her scimitar. So we will roll a red, and we will roll a blue. Now here's the great thing. It's no longer nighttime, so we're no longer suffering that -1 penalty. And on top of that, I have not used my action yet. I could use my action to move away, but that just would not be smart. So I'm going to spend my action to do 1 more point of damage. So whatever I roll, I get to add 1 to it. Let's see if we can take out this green raider in 1 turn. That would make me very, very happy. We will roll, and we will get a hit, and we will get a shield. Definitely not taking him out, but we just did 2 points of damage, so not terrible. Not great, but definitely not terrible. So we're actually okay on that aspect. So actually, we're not even going to do that because he's going to take 1 less point of damage, unfortunately. So we did 1 point of damage because he has armor. So we did 1 point of damage to the green rogue, the green raider, I'm sorry, and it's now the green raider's turn to retaliate. So we will look at the green raiders. He said he's going to attack with his sword, and then he's going to move 1 square away. Now away is going to be over here in this case. See the tutorial video if you want to see why. So first thing we're going to do is they're going to roll 2 reds, and if they get lightning bolts, they're going to make our lives absolutely miserable. Let's not get those lightning bolts. So we roll, and we will get a hit and a gremlin. No lightning bolts. So that's only 1 point of damage possible. Shay does have her nice studded leather armor, which reduces the damage by 1. We take no damage. This is actually awesome. But the bad guy is still going to move away 1 space, or move away 1 area. So we'll move 1 area with that nasty rogue. And that is it for Shay's turn. That is actually it for our hero's turn. Everybody is activated, and the story event is now going to go away. And guess what? Oh yeah, everybody can now crit again. Isn't it wonderful? That was sarcasm. So the first thing we're going to do at the start of the new round is everybody is going to activate. Now, or I'm sorry, we're going to refresh the powers. No powers refresh. Everybody is going to flip over their tokens so we're ready for the next round. And we have no other leveling up to do, so let's just go ahead and go into the action. It's amazing how just a couple little enemies, just with the rules of this game, can make them so very, very devious. So either one of my heroes cannot make it to over where Shay is at to outnumber that bandit. I want to take that bandit out, but I also want to take out that blue gremlin. Ooh, and that blue gremlin, I forgot, also has a power. His power is all attacks, unless you save, inflict poison. Oh, because we can never have too much fun stuff. He's going to be poisoning. That gremlin is even worse now. That's definitely going to affect how our strategies are going to go at this point. Shay is in a very, very, very bad position. I am tempted. Let's see. Gremlins are 1, 2, 3. I think I'm going to abuse the pathing and the AI of the game to position our heroes much, much better so we're not outnumbered and we're not playing stupidly. So before we actually start the hero turn, I must make sure those fire tokens reduce the fire level of it before I forget that, because otherwise I will. And now we're going to decide exactly what we want to do. So the first thing I am going to do is we're going to decide that we're going to activate Shay. Shay is going to decide that she is going to turn tail and run. She's going to go 1, 2, tempted, very tempted, but I'm not. 3, and we're going to finish Shay's turn right there. And I think 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's going to do it. I think that's going to be the smart move for our heroes right now. So Shay has done the smart thing, and she has retreated. I could have went after that Raider. Kind of want to, but I don't like those crits. The Raider's AI says that he will go 2 to 3. 1, 2, 3. So I really think that's the best way to do it. And that is going to be it for Shay's turn. Now we get to figure out what the bad guys will do. So we draw an encounter card to figure out exactly what the bad guys are going to do. And we will draw, activate 1 enemy, otherwise spawn 1 enemy. So now we see that it's going to be activate 1 enemy. So remember what I said earlier about how the heroes control their bad guys. This is one of those examples where this is going to definitely matter. So the Raider is controlled by Shay, who just activates. She's still technically the active hero. This gremlin is controlled by Akaris, so it will not be the one activating. So the 1 enemy that's going to activate will be this rogue right here. I was really hoping it was going to be the gremlin, so this did not work out in my favor. So activate 1 enemy, otherwise spawn 1. Well, we're going to activate. So there's nobody in 0, nobody in 1, nobody in 2 or 3. 2 or 3, so we don't need to worry about that. So it says move up to 2 areas towards the closest hero and attack the closest hero in line of sight within 2 areas with the handbow. That is still going to happen. I should have moved back 1 space further. Oh well, hindsight is 2020. I was not planning for that. So we will go 1, we will go 2, and now we will see that he has line of sight to that. And in case you are doubting it, we will look and see line of sight. So he's going to attack with the handbow. The handbow actually hurts quite a bit, but not versus the rogue, because all the big power of the handbow is a take away defense. The handbow is great for tearing apart big old knights with their mighty armor. Not so great against rogues, so I'm not too worried about this at this time. So it's going to attack me with this handbow. It does 2 blue dice, and it automatically does 1 more point of damage. And the special thing for the handbow is aim shot. Aim shot does not happen yet, so I don't have to worry about it. So let's roll the dice. We have 2 hits and 2 stars. Nothing to do with the stars, so we just have to worry about the 2 hits. Unfortunately, the handbow also already does 1 hit, so we have now taken 3 points of damage, which is more than half of Shay's life. Luckily, Shay still gets to roll 2 blue defense dice thanks to her studded leather armor. She doesn't get the automatic 1 defense because remember the handbow strips away 2 points of defense. So all we get is 2 blue dice versus 3 points of damage. So we're going to take at least 1 point of damage here. Let's hope we take a lot less. I have rolled 2 shields. Yes, that is actually really, really good. So 2 shields means we take Only 1 point of damage. That's actually not that bad. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I was actually ready for a lot more pain than that. So that's it for Shay's turn. We will flip over Shay's little gem token. It is now time to figure out which hero is going to go. And it's going to be the hero who is going to lay the pain. So I am thinking, looking at the way things go here, I will activate Icarus right here. And he is going to go try to do some mighty awesome things. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. His movement is 3. We now dominate this area because we have twice as many models in this area as our enemy does, thanks to our Mighty Presence ability. So that's +1 damage. I have not used my action yet, so that's going to be +1 damage. I'm going to roll 2 red dice, and let's see if I can hurt him a lot. Let's see, this guy has 1 point armor. He has pierce resistance. I'm not using a pierce, I'm using a slashing weapon. So I get to add 2 points of damage to whatever I roll. I think I can take him out. I will roll a damage. So that's 2 damage from the roll. Domination is a 3rd point of damage. Plus, since I decided to use my action, that's 4 points damage. 4 plus 1 is 5. -1, he is still dead. I have taken out the Green Raider, and he is actually removed from the game because that was in the rules. But he does drop the $5. I forgot to pick up the 10 before I left. I wanted Icarus to pick that all up. He's going to pick up all that money. This Green Raider has been removed from the board, and we're actually looking pretty darn good. So next thing we'll do is we will flip over and find out what's going to happen. And it says, ooh, Dark Tranquility. Activate no enemies. Shuffle the encounter deck, every card except for the Dark Tranquility card, and we'll figure out what's going to happen. And luckily, Thorgar still gets to activate, so the round is not over, and he's probably going to heal. But he's also going to move. So, Thorgar, 1, 2, and what is it? Range of 3, right? 1, 2, 3. I am going to, let's see, they attack the richest. So let's abuse the AI. I will move up that 3rd space. And then he will heal that last 2 points of damage on himself. His turn is over, and we'll flip over the next card to find out what they will do. And it is Dark Ritual. Activate all magic enemies. Otherwise, each enemy recharges 1 of their powers. Don't need to worry about that because the only one who could do that was him, and he's gone. And then they all heal. Oh, darn, he's not hurt. I guess he's not going to heal. Okay, end of round. Carnage happens. Or, I'm sorry, Carnage goes away. And I think I forgot about Carnage. Darn it, I should have did that. So we're going to have a little bit of retconning because Carnage would have hit Shay when she got hit earlier by that nasty guy. So Shay, unfortunately, was blinded. Didn't change anything that happened, but now I must remember that Shay is blinded. And anytime Shay wants to perform an action, she must make a save. Otherwise, she does not take the action at all. Now we fixed that little mistake I made. Let's go ahead and remove the Carnage card, which would have happened at the end of that round. That would have been removed. Now we don't have to worry about Carnage anymore, and now we can go to the top of the next round for all of our heroes. Refresh all their powers. Do not have enough experience to level up quite yet because the cards have not been in our favor. Hopefully that'll change very, very quickly. So top of the new round, we refreshed everything. These last 2 fire tokens will be disappearing. That's a good thing. That means we can get to that door. And now we got to start with our heroes next turn. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to activate Shay because she's our big unknown anyways in this aspect. And 1, 2, 3, yeah, that's pretty much a big unknown. So let's activate Shay. The first thing she needs to do is she needs to make a save. Now she saves on a hit. Saves are always performed with the blue die. So we are going to roll and we need to get a hit. If we do, she'll get the move. Let's hopefully see if we get it. We got a hit, so that means that she can perform this movement action. I will go 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see, we'll push for 1 because it takes 2 more to go in there, and we will look at this spot right here. Free action. Wait, no, I still got to roll because an action, even a free action is still an action. So I got to roll to see if I can even pick that up. And I can do it, so we're okay. So we will try to pick this up since we are not engaged. Now we need to roll a die to see if we find anything in that location. So we're going to roll a red die, and if we roll a lightning bolt, we get to grab one of these. If we get a star, we get to get one of these treasure cards. So let us hope we can get something good. And I think she has a special power that affects that, or is that an upgrade ability? I gotta remember. Gotta remember, is that her, or is that an upgraded power? Theory, you can use it against symbols. Nope, it's an upgrade power. Darn it, I was thinking about one of her upgrade powers, which is very, very nice. Anyways, I will roll, and I'm looking for a star. I'm looking for a star. I'm looking for the die to land in the dice tray. And we got 2 lightning bolts. So that means we get to draw one of these. And we find $10. Not great, and not really what we wanted, because now we can't... Oh no, actually we are okay. That would have been very, very much not what we wanted. But she found $10, and her action is over. This will be removed. Not quite what we wanted, but oh well. So now we get to draw for the horrible, horrible monsters who are going to roll and flip and flip and... Bloodlust. Activate all wounded enemies. Hey, he's not wounded. This is good. Otherwise, activate all enemies using their plus sign regardless of range. So that means he's going to move up to 2 areas towards the closest hero. That is definitely not what we wanted. Again, the AI in this game can be very, very cutthroat and very, very brutal at times. This would be those times. Luckily, it says we're just going to move up to 2 spaces towards the hero. It doesn't say we're actually going to attack. So he's going to go 1 and 2. That is not good. Because now our heroes... Ooh, that was brutal. That was actually devious. That was almost as devious as another human player could have been, because you'll see why. For me to get to the space to take them out, each one of my heroes has to push, which means that we can't get that extra +1 attack bonus on damage. So we're going to move 1, 2, spend our action for an extra point of move, because it's going to take 2 points move to move it into that area. We're going to try to smash this horrible gremlin into the powdery paste that it deserves to be. And this also means I can't heal either. Gosh darn it. Evil gremlins. We will roll. We'll get 1 hit and a star, 2 hits and a star. We get a 3rd hit, and we get a shield. Now, stars are not anything that's very cool. We want lightning bolts, but we do have 3 hits. Luckily, this thing is only resistant to slashing, so we are going to do 3 full points of damage. But wait, we've done 3 points damage. We dominate, we get 1 more point of damage because it's not nighttime anymore. 4 points of damage, he's dead. Which is good, because that means he didn't get to use his poison, which is what I was really, really worried about. Because poison, like blindness, and like fire, and like crits, and just about everything, is really, really nasty. So we will gain our 3rd soul. 1 more, and somebody can level up. That is actually looking pretty darn good. Bye-bye, horrible gremlin. Don't come back anytime soon. So we don't have to worry about any more encounter cards. We still have 1 hero left to activate, and that is going to be Akaris. He has 3 points of move. He's going to go 1, 2. I could go after that, but... Okay, it's kind of cheating. Yeah, it's kind of cheating. I played the adventure before. I know one of these is good, and I know one of these is bad. The trick is, the good part I really can't use because I don't have enough money to really use it. So I'm kind of cheating, and plus I'm worried about the time frame of this video. So you have to figure out what these are on your own time when you play the game. So I've moved 1, I've moved 2, I've moved 3. I will spend 1 more action. Or I'll spend my action to move, and I'll use my free action to bash open the door. Or should I? I don't know if I want to do that because I got to worry about the chat. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play smart. So we're here. I'm going to go 1, I'm going to go 2, and I'm going to go 3, and I'm just going to simply stop there. That's it for our heroes. That is it. We now get to go to our event phase. Anti-magic wind. Until the next event phase, all heroes and enemies cannot use star effects. Oh, well, we got to spawn more monsters, because you can never have too many monsters in a game like this. So we have 3 heroes. We are going to spawn, 3 enemies. Okay, so Akaris was the last active enemy, so this first card is going to be his. He will get a green gremlin. And then Thorgar will get the blue gremlin with the power. Oh, and the power is, life drain. If this enemy deals any damage with its weapons, it heals 2 hit points to itself. Because, you can never have too many nasty enemies in a game like this. And the final one is The game hates me today. Another blue gremlin. So the green gremlin is the 2.1, so we'll pull that out. And then we'll pull out both of these blue gremlins. It's probably a good thing that I did not run too far with Icarus there. So, top of the round. We have no special effects that need to go. We don't have any powers that need to recycle at all. We do not need to do anything like that. We cannot level up. So the only thing we need to do is we need to start the next round and figure out what we are going to do here. Because things are not looking good for our heroes. That was a lot of enemies to appear at one time. So we will start with Icarus because he is, well, he's the best one to go right now. So I will go 1. I will go 2. Do note I have not used my action, so I get to do +1 points of damage. I need to kill this gremlin. If I kill this gremlin, I will not be dominated by those gremlins back, and they won't get the extra bonus points of damage. So I need to kill it. So I do not dominate, so I do not get the extra point of damage. I will use my action for 1 point of damage, though. So I'm at +1 plus the roll of 2 dice. I don't know if that's going to be smart, because with my luck, they're going to kill me, but oh well. So we are going to do absolutely nothing. So I did 1 point of damage to the gremlin. The gremlin is now laughing at me and making fun of me because I did not do anything. Oh, guess what? They get to go now. See, activate 3 enemies. Oh, then shuffle the encounter deck and the discard pile, then discard this card. This is going to hurt. I think Icarus just might die here. I don't think I'm going to be leveling up. I think what's going to happen is one of our heroes, well, at least he's going to lose his crit, so that's kind of a bonus, right? Maybe. No? Okay, I don't believe it either. So the first thing is going to happen is Icarus gets to be attacked by the one he controls because all 3 of them are going to attack. So the green gremlin will attack first, attack 0 with his claws. So it rolls 2 red dice. I do have my 1 defense from my shield. I do have my 1 defense from my elven armor. Of course, that's not going to do much good when you get hit 3 times. So that's 3 hits. -1 is 1 point of damage. I get to roll 1 blue defense die. And not only that, if I get a star, I get a shield. Oh no, I don't, because anti-magic. So I need to roll a shield. Got a shield. So that's actually 0 damage. So that's good. So that is it for the green one. Now the blue one gets to attack me, and he's the one who does the life drain. He will roll 2 red dice, and it is an armor-piercing attack. So I only get 1 defense. So there's 1 hit, there's 2 hits, -1 for my 1 armor I get. So it's still going to be 1 point of damage. I need a shield. I got it. Yes, no damage. Finally, this third nasty guy right here is going to attack me. 2 dice, and that will be, well, there's 2 hits, 2 lightning bolts. They don't have any lightning bolt powers. I am okay on that aspect. And also armor piercing, so I still get 1 blue die. Am I going to defend? I do not defend. I got a star. Can't use it. Still going to take 1 point of damage. That is actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be, except for the fact that now they're going to randomly steal a coin. And I forgot to upgrade that to that. We will randomly lose that coin right there. Oh, joy. Just because it couldn't get any worse. Okay, so we've taken a point of damage. We are... Well, at least that's it. So now it's time for our next hero to go. So I'm going to activate Thorgar next because Thorgar is... Actually, I'm not going to activate Thorgar. Well, shoot. Yeah, I kind of have to. Well, I could activate Shay. I'm going to activate Shay. Shay's going to come in here and go move 1, going to move 2. We are now equal to the enemy right now, so that's good. So no bonus there. I will use my 1 action for an extra point of damage. I'm rolling a red and a blue. I just need to get 1 point of damage. Quite literally, that's it. I got... That was actually with a shield, by the way. I'm not going to cheat. I did 1 point of damage. No, wait, hold on. That's right. Perform an extra weapon attack with this weapon against the same enemy if you get the double S's. Yes. So I did 1 point of damage. Nasty little thing, and I get to do another attack. You will die. 2 lightning bolts. 1 lightning bolt is a crit. -1 life. He is dead. Yes! That was a hard-fought battle. I did not think I was actually going to win that one. Okay, that was close. A little bit too close. Don't like them that close. I like us to do a little bit better. But hey, we may be able to level up very, very soon. That is a good thing. So now the bad guys get to activate. Let's hope it's not that bad of an encounter now. And it is. Troop Assault. Activate all Gruin enemies. Okay. All enemies attack their closest hero in line of sight with their weapon attack. That's going to be stone. They are both going to stone my heroes. So the way this would work, both of our heroes have the same amount of money. They're money creatures. Both of our heroes have exactly 1 wound, but Shay has the least amount of hit points remaining. So they're both going to attack Shay. Great. 2 points of damage is automatic 2 points of damage. They don't even have to roll. Shay, you need to survive. So we have 2 defense. Oh, no, wait. We have 1 automatic defense. I forgot she's got the studded leather. Whew, not as bad as I thought it was. So we will take and we will get a shield. So the first stone does nothing. The second stone, nothing. Yes. Shay does a little dance and takes no damage. So now it is time for Thorgar to come in and get some revenge for us. Thorgar will walk in there and Thorgar will smash. Thorgar is going to smash this guy who does life drain because I don't like life draining. That allows him to heal and heal and heal. So +1 damage because we outnumber. +1 damage because I'm using my action. So 2 plus whatever I roll. So 3, 4, 5 points of damage. He has no defense at all because I'm using a piercing weapon, not a slashing. So that would be 3 plus 2 is 5. This nasty guy is dead, dead, dead. Discard pile. I will get my 5th soul, which is very good. That means even if somebody dies, I can resurrect them. So that is good. We have 1 guy left. He is dead, and now I get to do a cheerful little happy dance because we managed to take out 1 more of the bad guys. Unfortunately, that means the bad guys get to go. And we'll get fresh meat. Activate all enemies in full health. Well, that's him. That's pretty easy. He is going to activate. Now, he is going to activate and attack the richest hero. All of our heroes have $10 on them. Exactly. And let's see here. So next up is whoever has the least amount of hit points. So Shay is going to be the target. Luckily, Shay has 1 armor on her. So roll 2 red dice. It is armor piercing, which is going to bypass her armor. So, well, Shay may lose some money here too. So that's going to be 1 point of damage and 4 lightning bolts. Lightning bolts don't do anything, but if I do not defend, I'm going to lose some money. I need a defense so I do not lose money. Need a defense? Got it. Yes. So nothing happens. So the end of the round, this will disappear. We will, well, we flip those. We're not going to worry about those. Just need to speed this up just a little bit here. That's in the round. We take care of the event phase. We're now going to move to the time phase, and we will do all this resetting, refreshing, all that good stuff. We're going to do this really, really quickly, and let's start the final round of this fight right here. So the first thing that is going to happen is Thorgar is going to try to see if he can smush himself another little gremlin. Let's see if we can cause some. Oh, wait. No. Backtrack. Actually, I want to do something before we do that. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to level up one of our heroes. So we are going to level up our heroes. Now we have a choice to make. We know that our beleaguered tank right here is down 1 bit of hit points to that lousy critical hit on him. If he levels up, not only does he get to pick a talent of his that he wants, he can get 2 actions, which will allow him to do more damage, and he's going to gain a talent. The other option would be to level up the cleric, which could be a good idea, but I think what we're going to do is level up Icarus because, well, it's going to be best for him anyway. So we will take that right there. He is now level 2. We now need to figure out which talent he is going to gain. So just to make things a little bit quicker, I'm going to actually pick a talent that I think will help speed up the video a little bit. May not be the best decision, but then again, depends how you play. It may actually be a really good decision. I'm actually going to take the talent of Runner, which is going to add 1 point of movement to Ikaris, which could help him get across the board much more efficiently, which, when you're the tank, may be a good idea, because you want to run up to the enemies, grab their attention, and use your taunt ability to make sure that you're the one taking the damage and not the rest of the heroes. So, that's a permanent ability, which works great with his Mighty Presence ability, so it's always activated. So his movement is now 4, which allows him to move a heck of a lot better. So, going to take Runner for him as his talent. That's the level up. Now we can go ahead to our Hero's Activation. So for our Hero's Activation, the first thing we are going to do is we're going to activate Thorgar the Cleric. So Thorgar the Cleric is going to try to smush himself another little gremlin. Now remember, have not activated. We outnumber, plus 1 point of damage. I'm going to use my action for an additional point of damage. Oh, that's kind of risky. Yeah, I'm going to do it anyways. For an additional point of damage, and then I'm going to roll a whole bunch of dice. So we have 2 damage, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, and we have the double S. But we have 5 plus 2 lightning bolts. We have performed 7 points of damage. Plus we managed to knock him over if that wasn't really the case, if we didn't manage to kill him. But we've actually managed to smush him into a little bit of paste. We will discard it. We will get 10 coins that will drop on the ground for us. We're not going to pick up with Thorgar because we do not want him to be the first victim when it comes to that kind of stuff. Thorgar has attacked. He will now move. He'll go 1 and he'll move 2. Don't want to get next to that door because I don't want to be blown away by something behind that door. So that is it for Thorgar. We will now activate Shay, who will move 1, 2, 3, and she's going to open that door. Okay, 2 cards. Now the reason why we want to be far back is because some of these traps can have a range of up to 2 squares, which means Thorgar is kind of in danger, so maybe I should have moved him up, but oh well, we'll figure it out anyways. Oh, lovely. We have Poisonous Gas. That's always a fun one. And, oh, no trap. I am so going to take that. No trap means there is no trap on that door. There are 3 of those cards in this entire deck, and I've now seen 2 of them. That means those are probably going to be really risky for me, but I'm not going to worry about that just yet. What I am going to worry about is the fact that we have now revealed another enemy, which is going to be a green gremlin, and he is going to spawn right here. Green gremlin has spawned, and I moved 1, 2, 3. What the heck? Let's just move 4 and see if we can take this green gremlin out. So we're using a slashing weapon. That's a red and a blue. We have not used our action yet, so it's plus 1 damage. We don't have dominance, so we don't get that. So we're just going to add 1 to whatever we roll. I think we can take him out. And I got a hit and a lightning bolt, so that does mean I have a critical. I've done 2 points of damage, plus, minus 1 to his armor. That's not that damaging to him at all. Well, could have been better. So I've done 2 points of damage. Not too bad. So he is taking 2 points of damage. He's not dead. What are you going to counter? Says activate 2 enemies, otherwise spawn 2 enemies. Ooh, it's a good thing I attacked him when I did, or revealed him when I did. I did not want 2 more enemies on the board just yet. So the green is going to activate. He will roll. Let's see here. Who is the richest between these 2? Their range is 0. Sorry, he's in 0, so I don't have to worry about it. Roll 2 red dice. We have a hit and 2 lightning bolts. So the hit will be automatically blocked by my 1 defense from my armor. The green ones do not have the armor piercing. Don't have to worry about it. Yes, we're looking really, really good. So next up is going to be Ikaris, who will pick up this coin right here to make sure that he is the richest, because we want to take advantage of abusing the gremlins. 1, 2, 3. My 4 movement. And do notice, I have 4 movement now, so I still have my action. And I actually have 2 actions now, which is really, really nice. So I could actually move 1 more and still get the bonus to attack or exchange armor, do all that good stuff. We're going to go ahead and attack. So we're going to use one of our actions for the attack. I'm going to roll 2 red dice. So I'm at +1 because I outnumber, plus another point of damage for a bonus of +2 because of the using my action to attack. He's dead, but let's just show, that was actually pretty lousy. So 3 points of damage, 4 points of damage, And I could have rerolled a die if I wanted to, but I don't need to. He is dead. And I'm going to drop $5, which he will pick up. That gremlin has been removed from the board. All of our heroes have activated. Let's see what our event is. Divine Gift. Based on the active hero's soul, one hero heals 1 hit point, one enemy suffers 1 hit point of damage, or choose the effect. So, the active hero is Akaris. His soul is Law. By the way, there are rules in the game that you mix up the party with Law and Chaos if you want. I'm not using that advanced rule yet. So we're going to choose to heal 1 hit point of damage. And I think we're going to heal that on Shay because Shay is the one who's closest to being dead, and we want all the bad guys attacking Akaris so he can do his job as a tank. Start of the new round. We refresh everything. We cannot level anybody up. We don't have any long-term effects we need to worry about, like that nasty fire or poison. So let's go ahead and go back to our hero's turn. We are going to, let's see here. Let's just get the party started. Story event number 2. 1.2. Oh, by the way, earlier I forgot to take my reward for saving the merchant in the cart, which would have been 20 gold. I completely forgot about that. That's the fun thing about doing these videos. You concentrate on so much and try to make the video be good that you forget to do little things like that. So we've got an extra $20. I would have said that would have went on Akaris. Sorry, it's a little bit retconning. I apologize, but at least you see how the game plays. So we need to go to story event number 1.2. Story event 2. The Cathedral's entrance is a battlefield, and this is where we get to learn about really nasty red enemies. The bloody floor is strewn with the bodies of the guardian clerics and the gremlins. Near the sacred altar, High Cleric Claudius is surrounded by gremlins. But before anyone can react, one of the creatures lashes out, driving his claws deep into the old cleric's chest. The light in the eyes of this gremlin is bright and wickedly alive, betraying a malevolent intelligence that marks it as a chief. The heroes cannot do anything but avenge the High Cleric and kill the abomination. Place the red gremlin in story event area 2. Yeah, we knew this nasty little guy was coming. Open the shrine in waypoint number 2. If there are more than 3 heroes, spawn 1 enemy in the story event 2 area. There are not. Woohoo! Spawn hero minus enemies in the waypoint area. So we're going to spawn 2 enemies. Poor planning on my part there, huh? So shuffle, 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 shuffle. Oops, we need our red guy. Oh, red gremlin. Oh, red gremlin. That is controlled by Icarus, and I need to draw his encounter or enemy power here in just a second. So this is controlled by Thorgar. This is controlled by Shay. Oh, of course. More enemy powers. Just what we always need. So, enemy power for the red guy is all attacks inflict -1 armor. Ooh, nasty. And not only that, so he does armor piercing, which, red guy, we need the red guy. He's already armor piercing, so now he's armor piercing of 2. Also, if I roll a gremlin, he hits everybody in the area. Gee, just what we need, a little bit of an AE attacking gremlin, just because you can never have too much nastiness with these guys. Second thing, arcane spines. If an attack deals damage to this enemy, the attacker suffers 1 hit point of damage. Oh, that's perfect on a blue gremlin. This is my, no, that wasn't my smile. So anyways, we have spawned. So place the story event card 2, revealed side, on top of the story deck, which we knew was going to happen. And then resume play until the red gremlin dies, and go to 1.12. The red gremlin is really, really, really nasty. So we got a dot and a double dot. So we got a green. Gotta make sure I spawn these guys in the right location. Hold on. Says spawn. Oh, waypoint 2 area. I gotta make sure I do that right. Sorry, I knew that seemed wrong. So he goes there, and this one is going to be the one with the rock. He will go right there. So, red gremlins are very, very nasty. They have armor piercing. They roll 3 dice for their claw attack. And they also have quickness, which means it does not matter what this encounter card says. He is going to attack every single round. He must die very, very, very quickly. So, we started the new round. I have only moved. Correct? Yeah. No, I've got to go by memory here. So the only thing we have done is we have moved. So he can still make his attack, which is good because this nasty little gremlin has 6 life points. He takes -1 damage from slashing. He already has 1 armor. And don't forget, he's going to attack every single round. He also has banding if he outnumbers. He gets +2 damage, so we want to make sure that does not happen. And he also has a sharp spine. If this enemy suffers any damage, all heroes in this area suffer 1 hit point. Keyword is suffer. Check out the tutorial video to understand why that is such a nasty keyword. So we are going to attack. I will use a red and a blue die. I will use my action to attack. I outnumber, so I'm automatically going to get an extra 2 points of damage. I need to roll really, really, really well here. So we will roll, and we will get a hit, a star, and 2 lightning bolts. Ooh, what do I want to do here? Okay, so I am going to... I've done a point of damage. I could... No, I don't want to risk it. I don't think I want to risk it. That could come up as a... No, I'm not going to risk it. So I'm going to use this lightning bolt to do an extra point of damage. So that's 1 damage. I've done 2 damage there. 3 for outnumbering. 4 for using my action. So I've done 4 points of damage to this nasty guy. -1 for a slashing. -1 for his armor. So I managed to do only 2 points of damage. Not horrible, but also means that he is going to get his chance to start attacking and doing lots and lots of nastiness to me. So it is now the encounter turn. We draw an encounter card, and no matter what this says, he is going to activate. Even if it doesn't mention him, he is still going to activate. So we're going to hope that it's going to make him activate, because that makes our life a lot better. It says activate all faith enemies. Otherwise, the active hero must shift 1 used power back 1 hour. Oh, corrupt the will. I didn't use any powers. Yes. That was perfect. Kind of. The red guy still gets to go. So the red guy is going to attack the hero who has the most wounds on him, which fortunately is a Kararis, so it's a good thing that we planned it that way. He does not have banding, but he's going to move and engage and attack with his claws. He rolls 3 red dice. Now remember, it's armor piercing 1, it's armor piercing 2 because of a special ability. So I automatically have no armor against this automatic armor. All I have is the roll of 3, 4 blue dice, possibly, if he hits me 4 times. So we have 1 hit. That's actually a pretty lousy roll for him. That actually worked out pretty darn good. So 1 hit, I get to roll 1 blue die. And kind of lightning bolt, which I believe does not help me, right? Nope, I needed a star. So I'm going to take 1 point of damage. That actually was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Except for the fact that I forgot to take my point of damage when I hit him earlier, so I am now at 3 wounds. So, remember, I only have 6 hit points because of the crit that's on me, so I now have half my life left. That's actually pretty darn nasty. So, next up is going to be our hero. So, the Thorgar can move 1, 2, and 3 and get into this area. So, I'm going to activate Thorgar next. Especially since if I get in there, I want to do a heal. So 1, 2, and 3. Thorgar is going to move in there, and then I am going to use my action to heal. I'm going to heal 2 points of damage on Icarus, so Icarus does not die because we do not want that to happen. And trust me, these red guys can be extremely nasty. I'm going to use my attack to perform an attack. 2 blues, 2 reds. I cannot focus, but I do outnumber, so I have +1 points of damage. So I have 1, I have 2, I have 3, I have 4 points of damage plus a whole bunch of stars. I do not need stars, I need lightning bolts. So I have 5 points of damage I managed to do. It's not a slashing weapon, so I'm still doing 5 points of damage. -1 for his armor, so I've done 4 points of damage, and he rolls 2 blue dice in defense. So I got 4 damage, minus 1 shield, so I managed to do 3 points of damage to him. So he now is 1 hit point away from dying. So that's actually pretty darn good. The negative is now you will take 1 point of damage, and now you will also take 1 point of damage. It's getting close. We might win this. We might win this. We might. Actually, I'm hoping we win this. Flip over the next encounter card. It says, activate all red enemies. Yes, perfect. This game is suddenly going in our favor quite a bit. So the red guy is going to attack. Now, he is going to attack the hero with the most wounds. Fortunately, that's still Icarus, because Icarus has 2 wounds versus Thorgar, who only has 1 wound. So this is good. As good as it can be to be attacked by a ravenous gremlin who is trying to rip your heart out, but, you know, details. I rolled a hit, the double S, which does nothing, and 2 lightning bolts. I could not be getting much luckier than this. So the negative here is that armor piercing times 2, I am taking 1 point of damage. I get to roll 1 blue die. Let's see if I can not die. That was a shield. That was so sad. In the box, or it counts. 1 shield, no damage. Life is awesome. Okay, Shay, it is your turn to end the life of this horrible red gremlin. And we can do it. So Shay will move in. Shay will roll a red and a blue. Now, we outnumber. That's plus 1 point of damage. I will definitely use my action for another point of damage. That's 2 points of damage. He does have armor. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, I got 2 hits, and I got a gremlin. I don't do anything on gremlin because it's the double S, right? Yep, it's double S. So I have 2 points of damage, plus 2 from outnumbering and for using my action. So that's a total of 4 points of damage. He has 1 armor, so I've done a total of 4, minus 1 is 3. He rolls 2 blue dice. Now, even if he succeeds, no, he still has to roll. So let's see, let's do this again. I've done 4 points of damage, minus 1 from his armor, minus 1 from slashing. He has 2 possible points of damage. If I get 2 shields, he lives. If I get no shields, or even just 1 shield, we win. So it's going to come down to this roll right here for the victory of the adventure. 1 shield, 1 hit, 1 lightning bolt. He is defeated. The horrible, horrible red gremlin has been defeated. He is killed, he is slaughtered, he is slain. He drops 2 pouches, and he drops, oh well, I can reveal them now. He drops 2 souls. That puts us up to 3 souls. Now the cool thing about this game is that if you complete an adventure, any treasure that's on the ground within pickup distance of the hero who activated last, the last hero who activated, can automatically pick up those items, which is kind of a cool feature of the game. We can't get that because I didn't bash down the door, unfortunately, but I can pick up the 20 gold, which is super duper awesome. That's going to be really important for anybody who's played games such as Gloomhaven, which has that rule that treasure that happens to be laying on the ground, your heroes are too lazy to waste time to bend over and pick up for some crazy reason. It's one of the rules I do not like about Gloomhaven, but it's a rule I definitely like a lot about this game. Treasure on the ground at the end of the adventure, you are definitely going to pick up because you're heroes. That's what you do. Nice. Shadow's Vest, light armor, Dex armor for a Dex character. Oh, that is just so awesome. And Book of Secrets. So it said, once the red gremlin dies, read 1.12. The ending. And remember, we don't need to worry about the other gremlins. You'll see why. With his last breath, High Cleric Claudius tells the tale of the mysterious death of the king. His body appeared strangely light and pale as he lay dead, and to make matters worse, the royal heir has also disappeared. He continues weakly. Darkness invaded these lands. Count Dolv and his guards fight in vain because the evil forces they are facing are not of this world. You are now our only hope. The ritual required the sacrifice of our most precious relic, but here you stand, your souls contained in the gems you carry, bound to the will of this spell. You cannot completely die, but neither shall you be completely free. Until you will defeat this evil, I am ashamed of this caution, but to save the realm I shall choose to curse my soul. The spell of recall will give you back your strength as you kill the evil forces while guiding you closer and closer to your aim. My life is over now, but I pass away knowing my destiny is accomplished. Now everything depends on you. The cleric Marcus, he will guide you. He will answer your questions. Farewell. Heroes, save. Dramatic. This dramatic realm. Reward. The party gains 50 crowns. In addition, each faith hero gains 1 healing potion from the Emporium. Next, proceed to quest 2. But that's going to be on your own time. That is a full adventure of Sword and Sorcery. That is the prologue, and I know this did run kind of long, but I want to start doing this again. This is something I used to do a long time with my video channel, is to show you full gameplays instead of showing you partial gameplays so you can see how the game plays. I've definitely shown you enough of this game to see if this is going to be a game you're going to enjoy. That's book 1, or adventure 1, of many, many more in this adventure book. Stay tuned for my review. Stay tuned for the tutorial. Also, if you want, just check out the full quick overview of the gameplay. Thanks for watching.